We have been focusing on composing and decomposing angles. We can compose and decompose angles in the real world. This set of problems will challenge you to think about composing and decomposing angles in our real world. The first worksheet deals with roller coasters. It says at the top, angles are used to qualify the steepness of roller coasters. In problem 1, the Carolina Cyclone at Carowinds has a 53-degree incline. The Daredevil dive at Six Flags in Georgia has an incline that is 42 degrees greater than the Carolina Cyclone at Carowinds. Here's our question. What is the steepness of the Daredevil dive? I'm going to highlight that so I don't forget my goal. What is the steepness of the Daredevil dive? I like to set up a T-chart for these so I can keep track of what information I do know and the information I need to find out. I do know that the Carolina Cyclone at Carowinds has a 53-degree incline. So I'm going to do CC for Carolina Cyclone and write 53 degrees next to it. That's its steepness. Next we learn that the Daredevil dive has an incline that's 42 degrees greater than the Carolina Cyclone. So I'm going to do Daredevil dive and it is 42 degrees steeper than the Carolina Cyclone. So, to solve this, I would do 42 plus 53 equals 2 plus 3 equals 5, 4 plus 5 equals 9. So the steepness of the Daredevil dive is 95 degrees. Right. Problem number 2. Top Thrill Dragster at Cedar Point in Ohio has a 90-degree incline. How much less is the incline at the Carolina Cyclone? Well, let's start with our T-chart again. Alright, so I know that the Top Thrill Dragster at Cedar Point in Ohio has a 90-degree incline. That's information I do know. What we want to know is how much less is the incline of the Carolina Cyclone? Well, how much was it? We look up top. Carolina Cyclone has a 53-degree steepness. Alright, so we want to know how much less is the Carolina Cyclone than the Top Thrill Dragster. To solve that, I'm going to do 90 degrees minus 53 degrees. 0 minus 3. I cannot do that, so I'm going to borrow from the 9. So that is now 8 or 80, and this becomes 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. 8 minus 5 is 3. So we know that the Carolina Cyclone is 37 degrees less than the Top Thrill Dragster. Right. Problem number 3. The Takabisha Fuji in Japan has the steepest incline of all the roller coasters in the world. The incline is 121 degrees. The Intimidator at Carowinds has a steepness that is 47 degrees less than the Takabisha Fuji. What is the steepness of the Intimidator at Carowinds? So we want to know what is the steepness of the Intimidator at Carowinds. Alright, there should not be an uppercase T there. Silliness. Alright, so what is the steepness of the Intimidator at Carowinds? Well, let's set up our T-chart. And we're going to fill in the information we do know to find out information we do not know. The Takabisha Fuji in Japan, the incline is 121 degrees. So I'm going to do TF is 121 degrees steep. Then it tells us the Intimidator is 47 degrees less than the Takabisha Fuji. So Intimidator I is 47 degrees less than this one. So I will solve this by doing 121 minus 47 degrees. 47 degrees less than this. So 1 minus 7, I cannot do it. I'm going to borrow. This is now 1. This now becomes 11. It's 1 plus 10 that I borrowed is 11. 11 minus 7 is 4. And now I'm going to, 1 minus 4, I can't do it. So I'm going to borrow this. Becomes a 0. Alright, 11 minus 4 is 7. And I am done. That was a 0. So, the Intimidator is 74 degrees steep. Right. And now the last problem. The Behemoth in Canada's Wonderland in Ontario, Canada has a steepness of 75 degrees. How much greater is the steepness of the Takabisha Fuji than the steepness of the Behemoth? Alrighty, so let's highlight our question. How much greater is the steepness of the Takabisha Fuji than the steepness of the Behemoth? So we know the Takabisha Fuji is going to be the steepest one. We want to know how much steeper. So, T-chart. The Behemoth. The Behemoth, it told us, has a steepness of 75 degrees. The Takabisha Fuji, or TF, I need to go back up to the top to see that information. We said it was 121 degrees. So how much greater is 121 degrees than 75 degrees? Let's subtract to find out. 121 degrees minus 75 degrees. 1 minus 5, cannot do it. I'm going to borrow a 10. This is now 11. 11 minus 5 is 6. 1 minus 7, I cannot do it. I need to borrow. This is now 11. 11 minus 7 is 4. So we now know the Takabisha Fuji is 46 degrees steeper than the Behemoth in Canada.